I wanted to come and add on to the topic of excuses today and really encourage you, if you have them, to go and demolish them and go live a life that transcends and overcomes every excuse that you could possibly come up with. And the reason behind that is because most people have so much life, so much potential, so much beauty, so much connection, so many opportunities on the other side of these very simple excuses. And an excuse is never something, for most people, that's not very valid and not practical to some degree. But the repercussions of letting that limitation and letting that excuse literally limit the experience of your life is so detrimental to life and to how you feel and to your self-respect and your self-esteem and your self-concept, which will drastically alter your physiology, because that's also medicating you in every given moment of your life. So when it comes to your excuses, they need to kind of be your challenges. And if you can see them that way, then you can alter how you go about them. And I was talking in a visit today with a guy that's just gonna freaking become Superman, about, you know, these excuses that we have that are very valid, and some are very complex, and some, you know, the whole world would stand behind you and be like, there's no way. But, you know, even if you've ever done anything athletic, or even if you haven't, this is just the example I'm gonna use, but anytime I ran a race back when I ran track, I was tormented by the races that I lost when I didn't give it my all. I was totally fine with the races that I lost where I left it all out on the track. And that was just because of the nature of me. And I would know, like, I could have pushed harder, I could have done this, but I don't want to, right? And so to come to terms with that I don't want to in you is very empowering, actually, because then you're not going to continue to give power to the excuse that is already dictating a lot of your decision making, obviously, if it's still sticking around. And when you can just admit that you don't want to, maybe right now or today or for this season, that will kind of deflate slowly the bigness, the heaviness of those excuses. And then you can get very creative. That's what, you know, even working with a lot of patients, we have to get very creative in life on how to overcome some big stuff, some really challenging things. But for the most part, it's very doable. And we have to get, you know, super, you know, creative is the best word. But if you want it bad enough, there's nothing that's going to keep you away from it. But if you don't want to be uncomfortable, any excuse is sufficient, even if it's not valid. And so this is just the opportunity to level up within you and cultivate more of that self-respect, that self-esteem that comes from utilizing grit. And it's such a powerful thing to use, because it's doing the thing even if the whole world said you couldn't. And, you know, from my own personal experience in working with a lot of people and my own story, the thought that getting rid of the word, a diagnosis that was quote unquote incurable, the thought of playing out that story without trying to not, just bothered me more than attempting it and finding out at the end of whatever life that I got that it couldn't have been done. And what actually ends up happening, even with other people that I see, is when you don't let calling something stop you. What do I mean by that? So many people that get slapped with an incurable label stop trying, stop living, or they live with such rigidity that it actually reinforces the thing that they think they're fighting, which is a different conversation. But so many people just stop because it is incurable, because it's whatever word you want to put on it that's big and scary. But the only thing that happened there was you called it something. And to not go and live your most fulfilled life because somebody called how you're surviving something just makes no sense. And so if you didn't call it anything, would you want to change it? Would you want to push? Would you want to try? Would you want to feel better, even if it's just simply that? And if you're not, why? if you're already uncomfortable, if you're already not feeling good, why not get uncomfortable in a way that gives you the life that you desire, and the life that actually is a true reflection, not of your greatest potential, but even just, the simplest potential, because so many are living so far away from that. And that's why we have so much going on within our emotions, within our relationships, within our dependencies, within our, what we call addictions. And then that just puts this additional burden on the human and on the human body. So to pull it all back and simplify again, if you have an excuse, it's entirely up to you if you choose to keep it. And if you want to change it, you can find a million ways. And if you don't want to change it, even one way or 1,000 ways, or, it wouldn't matter how many opportunities somebody gave you. Sometimes it might be more true just to admit, I don't want to, and that's why I'm not doing it. Not, I can't do it because it's been called this, or I can't do it because this person wasn't able to, or I can't do it because I don't have these resources, or I can't do it because I live here, or I can't do it because my family, or I can't do it because, the list is forever infinitely long. But your opportunity is just you with you and you with life. What do you want? And what's it worth? And if you're already uncomfortable, what if you got uncomfortable in a direction that changed your life?